Hey, what's going on, guys? Flick here, and welcome back to another episode of the FIFA 17 Career Mode with Southampton. We have a very exciting episode ahead because we will be getting into the January transfer window, which could make or break our season and our hopes to contend for a top 4 finish in the Premier League. And I hope to have a press conference out for you guys tomorrow. Just make sure you leave some questions relative to the January transfer window. It's a very exciting time, and I think it should make for an exciting press conference as well. But we will be starting off today with a match against West Brom here on the 31st of December, the last match in 2016. Then pushing over to 2017, we have another match on the 2nd against Everton, and we'll close out the episode there and then play this match against Burton Albion in the next episode. I want to have 2 matches for you guys during these transfer window episodes because they tend to push on a little bit longer. A few updates though related to how the last episode did end off. Cedric suffered an injury. He'll be out for a month with a sprained ankle, and one of our youth academy players, Callum Morgan, who if I remember correctly is one of those high potential goalkeepers, he wants to get out of the youth academy and join the senior squad. And I don't want to let him go to waste, so I will offer up a contract for him, and that should help us move forward with a few of our objectives related to youth development. We'll quickly look at that and see what we do have to achieve. It is a high priority. We need to grow 2 youth academy players by 10 overall points. That goalkeeper training should help us out, but the problem is it'll be tough for us to give them first team action. He has to play in 5 of the matches, either as a starting 11 player or as a sub, so maybe we could use him in our cup games, but I feel like some of the outfield youth academy players would be more well fit for that. Here is Callum Morgan, and as you can see, he does have 80 to 94 potential, and he looks very well suited for that goalkeeper position in the long-term future. He's also 6'4", which is a good attribute to have. Maybe we have a future Fraser Forster on our hands, but we'll offer him up a contract. Of course, he doesn't want a lot of money, 2 years and 400 a week. We'll offer up the future first team player and hope that he does accept that. For the rest of these youth academy players, I'm going to wait until the start of January so they can get a slight bump in their rating, and then we'll pick a few of those players to choose to train and hopefully see out the objectives set out by the board at the start of the season. The final thing I do want to go over before we hop into some gameplay is this short-term financial objective, and we do need to finish the season with 17 million in unspent allocated funds. We currently stand on 23.5 million, which would allow us to achieve that objective, but if we do want to pursue some of those transfer targets in January, like that target man striker in Sebastian Haller, that would put us under the 17 million mark. In order to make that Haller deal happen and still achieve this objective, we'll need to sell off some players, so I thought I would walk you guys through my plans for this January transfer window, what players I want to bring in and what players I want to offload. Assuming that we do bring in Sebastian Haller into the Southampton side, I feel like we would have to sell one of our existing strikers, and kind of walking you through my thought process, we have the likes of Jay Rodriguez, who's in the form of his life, and it would take an outrageous bid for me to consider selling him. Next off, we do have Shane Long, who's a bit of a fan favorite here at Southampton and has performed pretty well in the games he has appeared in. Finally, we have Martin Braithwaite, who's a tricky option. He hasn't played poorly per se, and he is a new addition to this team, but I feel like out of the previous 2 players, he would be the best option to sell, and considering he's played alright in the Premier League matches, I think we can get some decent money for him. I usually don't like selling off players that I recently transferred into the club, but I don't think it's fair on Martin Braithwaite for us to keep him because I didn't expect Jay Rodriguez to step up in the way he has and perform so well at striker. If he hadn't have done that and he would stay as a squad rotational player, I think Martin Braithwaite would continue to be one of our starting strikers, but sometimes the philosophy for the club does change, and I think it's best for both parties if we do sell off Martin Braithwaite and look to bring in Sebastian Haller. But we will have to wait until January to make those transfer deals happen. We'll be returning to St. Mary's to play against West Brom, and coming off that 5-0 loss to Spurs, I'm looking to redeem our morale and our form, and coming up against the 18th place West Brom, I think this is the best case scenario that could have happened. We have opted to use a couple of players whose stamina are not at full capacity, but I want to have that quality in the team and allow these players to get their heads straight, especially after that 5-0 stomping against Spurs. But if need be, we can bring in a couple of substitutes and quality players here off the bench. Concentration levels are certainly high for this game because if you turn your back on this legendary difficulty with sliders, the CPU will make you pay, and I felt like that was kind of the case in the Spurs game, but a statistic just popped up saying that West Brom is the lowest scoring team in the entirety of the Premier League, so I think that should help our chances today. Here we go on the attack. It's been a slow start to the game, but Jay Rodriguez will now find Bertrand on the left. And if Rodriguez can make that run in the middle, this could be a chance for us. Getting inside the penalty area, nearly gets taken out. He does sweat it in the middle, and I wanted to play it toward Prowse, but Romeu ends up shooting and puts it wide. He did everything right up to that point, but his finishing needs to be better. Ward Prowse spotting out Jay Rodriguez in the middle, asking Romeu to help him out, and here we go. Romeu trying to find Ward Prowse, but instead, he'll play to our left center mid in Højbjerg. Højbjerg plays it out to Ryan Bertrand, cutting it down the right wing. and looking to play this one in the middle, crossing it in. This is a decent chance if we can win the header. Nathan Redmond does get his noggin on it, but it goes just over the crossbar. Ben Foster also diving for that one just to be cautious. It's been all Southampton so far in this game, and it's a really strange predicament because I think West Brom have the quality up front with Rondon and Berahino, but behind them, they don't have much of anything, and they're showing why they're the lowest scoring team in the Premier League. Jay Rodriguez using an LBY to find Nathan Redmond on the right. It's a perfect through ball, and Nathan Redmond needs to do something here. He'll use a Berber spin to cut inside, has options around him, playing essentially to Jay Rodriguez, just working the ball around. This is some great passing by the team. We'll finally shoot, and that does get deflected. It'll be out for a corner kick and a chance for us just before the halftime break. Again, we'll go to the near post driven, and someone needs to get there. It's going to be a decent chance. We'll keep it in bounds, and Jay Rodriguez laying it off. It's PA to shoot, and he gets it on target. One of our first shots on target throughout this game, and I rate it from PA, who's now won our starting right back spot with the injury of Cedric. Oh, that's a great back heel to find Chadley, and the finish was almost spectacular. I think Fraser Forster's not too happy with his defense because he nearly conceded there, but we will go into the halftime break, still 0-0, and I say we've been the dominant team by far in this match. And in the first 45 minutes, we'll take a look at the statistics and see where we do lie. And I think we have to have the possession advantage. There you go. 5 shots, 0 on target though, but 54% of the possession. I think if we continue this in the next 45 minutes, we will get that goal and get the victory today. Jose Font playing this one to James Ward-Prowse, and we might have a chance with it. And Jay Rodriguez laying it again to Ward-Prowse. Gonna use some simple skill moves to try to trick the West Brom defenders. Plays this inside. This is some great play, and Buffal with the finesse shot. I thought that was going wide, but Buffal's finesse shots are something else, and he gets us that opening goal that we've been looking for this entire match. Well done by Sofiane Buffal. Completely tricked Ben Foster there, and what a goal that was. Just one more look at it, and showing how much curve that finesse shot had, and going into the side netting. Man, Buffal is such a talent. With that Buffal goal and momentum now on our side, I'm gonna make a single substitution, taking off Højbjerg and making sure he does have enough stamina ready for the next game against Everton. We'll take him off and bring on Harrison Reed, who has been our best young player so far this season. Great through ball played by West Brom. This is a chance for them, but the shot by Jakob is not anywhere close to being on target, and their finishing has been woeful today. It's a great run being made by Romeu, and the passing is on point today, boys. Buffal finding Ward-Prowse, plays it out wide to Bertrand. Seeing the overlap run again by Buffal, cutting in between a couple of West Brom players, but does get tackled in the process. 20 minutes left to go in this one, and West Brom don't seem to be in a hurry to do anything today, and I'm really not sure why. They have a lot on the line. They're in the relegation zone right now. They're away from home, and they've yet to score. 72 minutes into the game. Something has to change for them. Just 15 minutes left to go, and I want to make a few more changes to close out this match. Romeu is looking tired at center defensive mid, and we do have Jordi Klaasie available, so we'll sub him on. And I know that Buffal was the goal scorer in this one, but I want to make sure he's ready for that game against Everton, so we're going to give Lloyd Iskrov some play time in this last couple of minutes. West Brom on the attack. Not many chances left for them in this game. PA gets out-muscled right there. He just needs to clear it off, and he might look to redeem himself here. And we do end up with possession. Finding the outlet, and this is a great chance for us. Ref, let us play on. And Nathan Redmond turning on the Jets and looking to get by a couple of players. Nicely done to find Ward-Prowse. Has the pass centrally. It's Jay Rodriguez. Needs a little bit more support. But hey, one finesse shot worked for us today, and the other one does not. This might be the last attack of the game for West Brom. Berahino cutting it inside, and now it's Gardner. Gets stolen, and Bertrand needs to get it cleared. Well done. And we'll just look to waste a couple of minutes and maybe even get on the counterattack one more time, playing essentially, and Reed cuts between a couple of defenders, finding Jay Rodriguez, and if he can close out the game here, it would be spectacular scenes. Well played by our team to get this West Brom on the counterattack and on the break, and we end out the match with a dominant 2-0 victory. Well done by the team. That was a deserved win right there against West Brom, and overall, we just played strong from the back and got West Brom on the break a couple of times. Couple candidates for man of the match, but I think there's only one man that can get it. It'll be Sofiane Buffal with an 8.6 rating. Jay Rodriguez not far behind with an 8.4. Ward-Prowse and Harrison Reed with an 8.2. We have now entered the January transfer window, and there are a few pieces of business that I do want to take care of right off the bat. And the first thing I will do is recall a couple of players that we sent out on loan at the start of the season. I've really adopted to this Southampton mentality of allowing your young players to grow with the squad, and I want to make sure that they stay here at Southampton. So one player that I will be recalling is Jake Hesketh. If there's any other players that you see out on loan right now that you want me to recall, just let me know in the comments section. We can recall them over the course of this January transfer window. But for now, we'll be recalling Jake Hesketh from loan from Shrewsbury. The second piece of business, we'll be looking to add that target man striker into the club. We've already identified Sebastian Haller as our guy, and we'll put forward a 10 million bid to Utrecht and see if they do accept that. He's a vital player for them at striker, so we may have to offer up more than 10 million. And in fact, we have a couple of bids for some of our own players. Gardosh doesn't feel home here at Southampton, and he wants to leave the club, and there's been news going around that clubs have been circling around for him. So we have a transfer bid, and I did delete it from the email, but we can move over to the transfers tab and then on over to transfer negotiations. It should be waiting for us. Here it is. It's from Middlesbrough, so another Premier League side, which doesn't make a lot of sense because it's still in England, but that's just the way career mode does work. However, I'm going to be increasing their bid from 2.2 million and countering with 3 million, see if they accept that. A couple of episodes ago, I put forward a couple of players for us to pursue on pre-contract deals, and by far the most popular option was Nathan Dyer, and I think that's fair because he's a former Southampton player himself, and it would be cool to see him join the club once again. So we'll look to approach to sign him on a pre-contract deal. And what will he want on his wages? 70 grand a week, that's not bad. 2 years, and we'll give him a squad rotational role to start off with. We may have to bump that up to an important first team player role, but realistically, a squad rotational player is what he will be. Stamina in our first team is once again a huge issue for this match against Everton, and I think that's going to make us look to pick up some more players in the January transfer window and add some more squad depth to the team with all the injuries we have had. But looking at our team bench, we actually have some debut players featuring on the bench, notably Jake Hesketh, who I plan to bring on in this game. We'll be making our way to Goodison Park to match up against 7th ranked Everton, and I know we played them not too long ago in this career mode, but I'm not sure if we played them in the league or in the cup. But regardless, we got to win in that match, and I'll look to replicate a similar result for this one. Another slow start in this one, but if things are anything like our last match against West Brom, things will heat up a little bit in the second half. But if we keep on playing like that defensively, we'll be all right. Sally Uchan, who you guys don't seem to be too big of a fan of, but I want to give him more time in this team. Even if he doesn't end up being a first team player for us, he's an investment player and someone that we can sell off later in this career mode for a lot more cash than we bought him for. But we're going to work this one around. Jordi Claessy ends up losing possession, and now it's a chance for Everton to get on the break. But this is kind of how they played all game. They're not in a hurry on the counterattack, and they'd rather build it up possession-wise. Kevin Morales on the ball. Could cross it from here, but instead he's going to drag it back and finally crossing it in kind of a cutback cross, but it's defended well, and Sam McQueen finds the outlet in Sally Uchan. McQueen providing another outlet again, and could play it to Shane Long. To some space. Long's just going to look to use his pace and get by this last defender. Cuts inside. Just needs to be a finesse shot. And he's going to bury it in the back of the net. Getting it by the Everton keeper, who I don't have any idea who it is. But Shane Long. That's another reason we need to keep him as our backup striker, because he can get goals like that one. It's a throw in from a good position for Everton. And they'll look to make good use of this chance. Now Tyler Browning. Finding Bezic. McCarthy will pass it into Ross Barkley. Gets a lucky touch, and that's a huge block by Yoshida. He'll clear it away, and we haven't given him too many chances in this Southampton team. But with the departure of Gardosh, he could be a more important player for us. But now it's Shane Long, again trying to take on that Everton defense. This time, the defense comes out on top. It'll be one final chance for Everton before the end of the first half. They will cross this one in, attempting to find Aaron Lennon. Sally Uchan gets it clear temporarily. Lennon with another shot, and Fraser Forster pulling off a big save right there. One more corner kick to deal with, and we can enter the dressing room. And we'll get that one cleared off the line. I'm not sure if that was a save or whether it was Ruben Semedo. The shot goes wide. We'll go into the break. Everton came to life at the end of the first half, and I think that accounted for quite a few of their shots. But at the end of the first half, hey, we have the result that we're looking for. A 1-0 lead, courtesy of Shane Long. And if we can add one more goal, that would be perfect. We're holding on to a lot of the possession in this second half, and it's an entirely different game if we can get this one opportunity to go our way. Steven Davis, LTRT dribbling, and now he will find Sally Uchan, trying to bang in a long shot from here, but instead he's going to get by a couple of Everton defenders crossing it, and once more in the middle. A strange bit of play, but it ends up with a goal kick. Kevin Morales looking to light a fire for this Everton team and get something going. It's Gibson, the Irish player, who's going to go to the midfield and now finding Deulofeu. Haven't seen much of him from this game. And I'm not really sure why, because you would have to argue that he's one of the best players for Everton, but it will be a free kick for them. Just before this free kick, I'll make a few changes, and PA, we're asking a lot from him, getting him to start in this match, and I think it's about time we do sub him off. We'll bring on Gardush, who looks to be on his way out of the club, but our second substitute will be Jake Hesketh. I promised I would bring him on, and we will substitute him on for Sally Uchon. Here's Jake Hesketh Array trying to show us what he learned over at Shrewsbury, and he feels good on the ball. I'm liking him so far. And he's going to get in the penalty area. Could cross us one in the middle. Can he get an assist on his debut? And it's a great shot, but it ends up getting cleared by Everton. What a chance for Jake Hesketh to make his mark. And whoever that manager is needs to get off the pitch. This is some unreal pressure being applied. And guess who? It's Jake Hesketh. He'll run centrally, and he might be able to get this one shooting it. And it's a big block by Laporte. I just realized Everton signed him. And that's a big name signing for them. One of the highest potential players in career mode. Classy to send in the corner kick. Can we get on it? And it's a good header, but it goes straight to McCarthy. Only a few minutes left in this one, and we'll look to retain possession and close this match out. It's Jake Hesketh once again on the ball. His impact has been legendary, and Shane Long might close it out with another goal. It'll be a finesse shot. Can it be 2-0? Too easy for Shane Long, making it 2 for us in the 88th minute, and we're going to walk out of Goodison Park with 3 points. Another outstanding performance by the team, and just thinking back to how I was feeling about these sliders in that final game of the last episode against Spurs, I was frustrated. But if you can keep your composure and play very patiently on these sliders in these settings, you can still get results like we got today. Following that match, I want to promote a few more of our Youth Academy players, and these will likely be the players I do end up training and featuring in a couple of matches throughout the season and achieving that youth development target that was set out for us. The first player I'm going to sign is an American right mid, Adam Cameron, 73 to 93 potential on him, and I'm looking to promote the players who are a little bit older so we can allow the younger players to develop more and reach that maximum potential in the Youth Academy. But we'll offer up a contract for Adam Cameron, and it's going to be a similar one to the one we offered for our goalkeeper that we signed at the start of the episode. I'll also extend an offer to Benjamin Mamuepa, a Nigerian left back who does have 79 to 94 potential, and the main reason I do want to offer him a contract is because we are lacking depth at that fullback position, so hopefully he can provide a little bit of squad rotation for us. Funny enough, right after we did promote a couple of our Youth Academy players, we received another scouting report from Nigeria, and this will be the last one for this scouting network. 54 to 76 potential to start things off, 65 to 87, 56 to 76, 56 to 78, and finally another 56 to 78. So no one to sign from this month's scouting network, but overall Nigeria brought back a lot of talents. In order to add some more variety and diversity into the team, we'll scout out Asia for the first time, maybe even build our brand exposure by sending Brandon Harris to Japan for 3 months looking for a physically strong player. Transfer news coming in from Middlesbrough. They have chosen to accept the $3 million asking price for Florian Gardush, and that will help in our negotiations for Sebastian Haller because Utrecht do want $15.5 million from him. Realistically, we do have to meet them halfway, so I'm going to increase our bid from $10 million up to $13 million. A transfer offer also coming in from Martin Braithwaite from Liverpool, another Premier League side, and I'm torn about this decision. We need the funds in order to meet our objectives, but on the other hand, it's Liverpool we're talking about. We don't want to add fuel to the fire and the squad that they do already have, but in order for us to accept this, I'm going to counter with $15 million. They have the money to spend. And if we did get $15 million added to our transfer budget, not only would it help us achieve our objectives, but it would probably also allow us to add some more players during this January transfer window. And we received some unfortunate news from Nathan Dyer that he wants a bigger squad role in our Southampton side than we initially offered in a squad rotational player. I kind of expected that, but I don't want to offer him something that he probably won't receive. Realistically, he's not going to be a first team player for us. So we're going to try not including a squad role. Sometimes that does work, and also to add some more incentives, I'm going to give him some extra money, the 2 years, and not specifying the squad role this time. Huge news for us as Florian Gardush has completed his move to Middlesbrough, but more importantly, Utrecht have accepted our $13 million bid for Sebastian Haller. Now, entering the contract negotiations, initial thoughts, his wages are considerably lower than most of our other strikers, and that's good because his transfer sum was a bit higher than it was for Martin Braithwaite at the start of the season. But we will give him his 20 grand a week for the wages, and I don't think that'll be a problem at all. We might even have to give him a little bit extra 4 years, and we're going to be starting with an important first team player because we do have the likes of Jay Rodriguez also performing well at striker, but I think an important first team player is a decent shout. You know, initially I did plan on closing out the episode here and then playing this match in the FA Cup against Burton Albion in the next episode, but I can't leave you guys on that sort of cliffhanger. We're going to simulate against Burton Albion, hopefully finish those contract negotiations before this episode does come to a close. And hopefully we can win this match against Burton Albion. We are the superior side, but they are rocking a 5-3-2 formation. And I would hate to be kicked out of the FA Cup this early on, but we will skip and we end up getting a draw, which means we'll have to replay this match. When I saw that Jose Font picked up an injury in that simulated match, it had me worried, but luckily he's only out for 7 days and he'll be back into the team soon enough. And surprisingly, Nathan Dyer did accept the increased wages and the lack of us including a squad role, so he'll be joining the Southampton team for next season. Well guys, I did want to finish that negotiation with Sebastian Haller before the end of this episode, but unfortunately, we're at the point where we will be playing Swansea in the EFL Cup. That's not one I'm willing to simulate, so we're going to get to that in the next episode. But to close out today, I have 2 very intriguing emails in regards to the Martin Braithwaite transfer. We've had a response in regards to our counter offer. They're willing to pay $14.5 million for Martin Braithwaite. That's more than we paid initially, and that's a considerable bid. But we also have another transfer offer for him from a non-Premier League related side in Sampdoria. We can maybe increase the negotiations and make them pay up more than this $9.5 million. But I'll leave it up to a poll question. Should we accept the Liverpool deal for $14.5 million and send Martin Braithwaite to another Premier League side, or should we look to sell him to a Serie A side in Sampdoria? Let me know through the poll question, and that will close out the episode for today. If you have enjoyed today's episode, make sure you drop a like down below. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. And until next time, this has been Flick. I'll be talking to you guys again soon.